racing enthusiasts, are you ready to take your sim racing experience to the next level? Look no further because 29 Graphics has got you covered. Introducing 29 Graphics, the premier provider of high-quality sim racing wraps. Whether you're a professional racer or weekend warrior, our custom design wraps will make your car stand out from the competition. 29 Graphics is now the official graphics design partner of Saturday Night Racing League.
It's a big dive. McWhorter might just try to run him out of room here. Oh, he put him in the wall. They're going to crash. They both crash.
Contact 29 Graphics on their Discord or the link in the video description.
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
In the heartland of our country, something magical is happening. At Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes, we know the power of community, of hands coming together to create wonders. These costumes are symbols of love, compassion, and inclusion. Your hands can craft dreams. Join us at Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes build events and be a part of something extraordinary.
What is up, everyone? I am Joshua Banks, driver of the number 35 Mako Tool Supra.
Comes Banks. He's going to send it to the inside. They're 3 wide for the race lead. They're going to so Banks is going to win it. Unbelievable.
And also co-owner of M&J Distributors, for the sponsor of Saturday Night Racing. So I just want to thank every single one of you for tuning into tonight's race. I hope you will put on a good show for you guys. I hope that you will enjoy it. So if you do, make sure you drop a thumbs up to B-Speed and subscribe to them, because they, as y'all know, if you haven't already, they put on some great broadcasts. So I'll make this short and sweet. The main reason for sponsoring Saturday Night Racing League is because I've been with these guys for a long time. I've raced with a lot of them. I've been through some rough times, some good times, and arguments and everything like that. But still, grand scheme of things, been through a lot of these guys, and I really do like where this league's going. I want to support it. They've given a lot to the league already, and I think, you know, I'm capable to support back. So that's what we're doing, and we want to keep this league free, you know, for people to join, to have a good time, come in and race and just have fun, you know, and that's what we're all about. So that's the main reason, and that's all I really have to say about it. So I hope you do enjoy the race, enjoy the season coming up. We are hopefully going to put on a great season for you guys. Also, make sure to check out my YouTube channel, Banksy the iRacer. Link will be in the description. Check out, and you can see my point of view, see what's happening on my end if you want to watch it.
After a wild 2-week stretch, it was the Clash at Atlanta, already wild to start the season. Before we were even fighting for points, we went to Daytona, even more chaos. Bailey Turner came out on top. We needed a week off to decompress, as did the drivers. And what better way to come back from decompressing from a 2.5-mile super speedway than the Monster Mile, Dover, Delaware, a mile track. It is going to be a concrete canyon tonight in Saturday Night Racing League. It is week number 2 of the season for the big boys tonight, as we're just girding up, getting ready for this 43 car field to hit the track. Hello everyone, I'm Connor Horn. I'm going to try to be leading a little bit more. Bradley Cooper's struggling a little bit with his voice, but he's still with me tonight, doing the producing, doing the dirty work that I can't do because I'm not smart enough to do that. So thank you for that, Bradley. I'll try to help you out a little bit here, but I'm pretty excited for this racetrack. I love Dover, Delaware. I love racing it, but I like watching it even more.
Well, we'll take a quick look at the track map, and we'll get to the points and the race analysis later, but here it is, the Monster Mile, 24 degrees of banking, concrete surface, 4 turns, D-shaped oval, opened 1969. Of course, we've been here before, and season number 3 should be no different. But while we're sitting here, we're going to go ahead and take it to the grid. Go ahead there, Connor.
Yeah, I was about to say, we got a pretty long grid. We probably won't get through all of it, but we do have to at least see the pole sitter. Seth Hatchell sits on the pole tonight. Alex Bell, who's had a great run in this series, but he's still looking for another victory, or at least a victory at all. He starts second tonight. Third position alongside Mark Whitley, who will start third in the 77. He was so close at Daytona 2 weeks ago. It'll be AJ Stravato, who wrecked out early at Daytona, starting in the fourth position. Fifth position, a Nathan Farada, a great qualifying position for the 07, with Jeff Wright, former series champion, in the sixth position with a 23.25 flat. Joshua Banks, always a threat here, and a series sponsor, starts in the seventh position. Christian Angel starts in the eighth position in a Ford Mustang. And then as we get probably one to green here, Brian Chambliss in the 9 will start in ninth position, and Ray Massey just inside the top 10.
11th spot goes to AI Chad Klinger with Ryan Carwile in 12th. 13th goes to Joseph McWhorter, Eric Hutton in 14th. 15th, Johnny Rapp with Casey Lakatos in 16th. 17th, Taylor Butcher Benjamin. Christopher Hodges is going to start in 18th. Rounding out your field in the top 20 is Max Cost and Derek Garrison.
And
Leo Wells for Seth Hatchell.
Yep, and Mark Whitley. They'll both go to the rear for causing crashes at Daytona. 21st position, Justin Ritchie in a Cheerios Toyota Supra. Jeremy Miller, another Supra, starting 22nd. 23rd position will go to the 66 of Stephen Davis alongside Philip Brewer in a Brandt number 44. Jeff Allen in number 37. I don't believe he is on the grid. He's actually on pit road. 26th position to Caleb Weekly, always a staple of this series. 27th, Logan Threlkeld, a friend of ours. Austin Belke, who I believe won the series earlier before this race, but he'll start all the way back in 28th, trying to do the double. Bryce Shoemaker starts 29th position with Jordan Schrass, I think, making a series debut, starting 30th as we get ready for the green flag.
31st, Michael Muncy, Kyle Peacock, and we'll just keep cycling this through as we get set to go green. For the second week here, after that off week, we're going to go to Dover. Green flag is out for week number 2 from the Monster Mile.
We got a spin in turn number 4, right in front of the rest of the back half of the field. Jeremy Miller, Caleb Weekly, Kyle Peacock piles in the 83, and they're stacking up behind them. Looks like Chuck Sweeting and Dakota Floyd involved. And we did not make it a lap.
This is kind of what we saw here in the Challenger Series. Lap 1 after the off week, pre-race jitters, and unfortunately the 75, his luck continues. Chuck Sweeting caught up in another one.
His car looks okay. He might be able to continue. Kyle Peacock, Jeremy Miller, I'm not so sure. I'm not even sure where this happened. I think it happens in front of a 75. It looks like Miller might have gotten the boot. And then, bam, Kyle Peacock just came in flying. Looks like Chuck Sweeting and Dakota Floyd, they were just checking up and kind of spun around. I think those two will be fine. The 30 and the 83, not so much.
I'm sorry, I might be a little bit delirious, but did you just make a reference to the other guys? The Peacock and flying?
I wish I was that smart. No, that was just perfect timing, actually. I was going to note Nathan Farada. He started 5th, but ended up being a control car, so a good start for him. But Stephen Davis on the inside of Jeremy Miller, and 66 just kind of came up.
Nowhere for Caleb Weekly to go. He gets caught up into it. Sideways, and this is the bottleneck that is Dover. We didn't get the touch on it there. We got a little bit short on the pre-race, but this track is notorious for almost tunneling the traffic. As soon as there's a caution, anything going on the backstretch especially, there's just nowhere to go.
It's a self-cleaning track, so that's kind of what makes it hard to avoid crashes here. You think you're going to be able to get to the inside and get through the crash, but what goes up must come down with all this banking at this racetrack. When they crash, they come down the track in a hurry, quickly blocking the track, and that's exactly what happened there. Miller started coming down the track. Peacock had nowhere to go, and then because the track gets blocked so quickly, you have to check up, hit the brakes hard, and that's where Chuck Sweeting and Kyle Peacock came in. Where Chuck Sweeting and Dakota Floyd came in, excuse me, just trying to check up for the accident. But like I said, I think they'll survive. But how about Nathan Ferrada? Started 5th, beneficiary of 1st place and 3rd place getting EOL penalties for tonight. So he was the control car and got away with the race lead, excuse me.
Yes, and it was a brief one at that, but he will get some more laps led, and we'll continue on as we hit the next restart. I gotta tell you though, not a lot of changes for position up here in the top 10. However, in the back of the field, 12 positions gained for this driver already just with that caution.
Yeah, Logan Threlkeld was able to get through that. Looks like he's got no damage, so I think he was actually in front of it. Actually, no, he was behind it, but he was just able to sneak through. He was one of the first drivers to sneak through, and he's able to get that Zin Camaro up close to the top 20, but not quite yet, as we line up for our first restart of the night on lap number 5.
But again, this is a throwback to what I said a moment ago. This is how the race started in Iowa. Then it went long green flag racing for about 20 laps. Hopefully we can get more of that than we got at Iowa, because that race definitely had the situation where the long running cars could have very easily taken over. The 48 dominated the beginning of that race. Lucas Lyons led almost every single lap up to about lap 84. So it would be nice to see a little change here in the Cup Series as we get set to go back green.
Into the Geico restart zone, lap number 5, and Nathan Ferrada is away with the race lead. We're green once again. He gets the big jump. Alex Bell into the 2nd position. Banks and Stravato will be side by side, starting the 2x2 chain, 3rd on back, as we try to get through one green flag lap around Monster Mile. As Bell, Banks clear for the top 3, then right past Stravato for 4th.
To the inside of Chad Klinger is Joseph McWhorter, last season champion, making a pass there. And just behind him, Ray Massey gets up on the back bumper of the 09. We made it a lap here. Connor?
We made it a lap. Jeremy Miller will try to make it a lap, limping off of pit road with the most damage out of that lap 1 incident, as Ferrada's already having to defend hard for the race lead. Alex Bell wants it, and we kind of saw this last season with the 15, that he was really fast and really aggressive on the short run, but paid the price for it long run, as majority of the top 12 or so single filed out already.
You have to go all the way back to Ray Massey. Actually, just in front of them, Chad Klinger, Joseph McWhorter, these drivers. Ryan Chambliss, who had a shot at the lead at Iowa, he's going to lose a spot to the 73. A little connection issue there for, I believe that was either the 33 or the 48 here in 4th or 5th.
If I know anything about Saturday Night Racing League, I would think it's Jeff Wright, but it actually did look like it was Stravato, but all good right now. He runs in the 5th position, as about 0.5 of a second separate Ferrada from Bell, as I believe the 33 had another issue there. But we've already gotten fully single file through the top 20 at this point. Noah Mahalski up to about the 21st position. He's trying to move up through the field after making the chase, excuse me. We don't have playoffs here. He made the chase last season, trying to get another good start for the season. He's up to 23rd position. 21st, excuse me. He is up 14 positions in a short amount of time. As Philip Brewer right in the front of this battle. Looks like the 7. That's Derek Garrison made a pass on Max Goss.
Goes for 18th spot right there. And Max Goss falling back 1 position, up 15 for Noah Mahalski. Mahalski had connection issues in the previous race. He started up in the top 5. Hey, he was passing for the lead. He was battling the leader as his connection dropped out very early in that race, ended up 10 laps down or so, and just continued to snowball from there, connection issue after connection issue. So hopefully, whatever the problem was, the 03's got it figured out. He can go solid and green here. He has to connect to 42 clients to stay on this racetrack.
And iRacing servers can throw you in for a curveball a lot of times, as we've seen across a bunch of seasons. There's no battle for the race lead, and Nathan Ferrada's gone, 0.9 of a second lead. I gotta say, a little surprised he's pulling out this lead, but he looks strong at this point in the race. At this point, as there are battles all around the top 10 or so. It looks like Brian Chambliss got checked up in the background as Ferrada's out for a Sunday cruise, but these guys are just absolutely on a madhouse on 405 at 3 p.m. or something like that. That's a reference. Christopher Hodges in the 13th position, the number 51, as Chambliss and a Scott Bloomquist throwback dropped back a little bit. Might have tapped the wall somewhere, but car looks clean.
Riding up here in the top 3, the battle for second is shaping up. Alex Bell, Joshua Banks about to go side by side. Here goes the 35 on by.
Looks like Banks just got the position handed to him from teammate Alex Bell. As you can see, the big difference between the top 6 and the rest of the field. You got Joseph McWhorter at the tail end of his line. You can see him right at the top of the screen. It is a big gap from Joseph McWhorter. 2 seconds back to Chad Klinger in the 7th position, and it's 1.3 seconds to the 07. We'll see if he pays the price for this on the long run, as it looks like a battle's brewing. Johnny Rapp, Christopher Hodges with a 13th position. They will go side by side in the background out of turn number 4. This is so tough to keep time up going side by side as Chambliss has a big wiggle off the corner. This is just how tough this track is when you're going side by side. It is so hard to make that pass on the bottom, but it's hard to make it on the top because you can't get to the right rear of these guys, so you have to work over drivers here, which, unlike at any other track, Dover, you're working 24/7.
Just watched a little contact there with the wall. I believe that was Philip Brewer and Derek Garrison that came out of turn 2. Maybe a tag with the wall with one of those cars, and a position swap there. Philip Brewer up to 18th now. 9 positions gained for the 55 of Justin Ritchie. He is on a tear.
And he has been pretty fast to start this race. I'm also looking at some other drivers coming through the field. Mark Whitley and Seth Hatchell specifically, EOL penalties starting at the rear of the field. Mark Whitley is working his way to the 23rd position as we speak. A little further behind is Hatchell, who's trying to get the 26th. As a matter of fact, he has got the 26th position. So Whitley, a little bit more progress compared to the 8 at this point. So very strong charges already, very early in this race, and a long way to go.
I want to say it was Seth Hatchell that had really good performance there in the Clash event, if I'm recalling correctly. Working on the inside of the 66 of Stefan Davis through 1 and 2, and there's some side-by-side brewing just in front of him. Michael Muncie. A lot of these drivers that I'm referencing right now, well, you just heard their names a moment ago at Iowa Speedway, and what a transition to go from that racetrack. Here, you're traveling almost 1,000 miles to get over here to the East Coast.
The front straightaway, big hit. It's Brian Hennings in the 74 car, and the second caution of the day is out on the front straightaway. Big hit. A lot of damage to the left front. Caution number 2 on lap 21. This should likely bring a lot of drivers on the pit lane as we get the V-Speed instant replay already loose down the back straightaway. And I cannot imagine it gets any better when you get to the front straightaway. Ooh,
Just stepped out on him.
Ooh. Just didn't even really snap. It just, the rears were gone out of the corner, had no grip. When you get him that sideways at Dover, you do not save it because that inside wall comes up in a hurry too, right there. Big hit for Hennings. That brings everyone on the lead lap, just about everyone on the lead lap to pit road, led by an Nathan Ferrata, who's led all 21 laps so far.
Like Christian Angel is going to stay out here and get a lap led. But yeah, it's going to be Nathan Ferrata that's going to lead them in, and Chris Shoemaker also electing to stay out here with Logan Threlkeld.
We'll see if this is what they truly do. Threlkeld's got some right side damage, so he's been in the wall. I think Christian Angel's had a light tap of it as well. And Ferrata's going to get out of pit lane first. Justin Ritchie comes out second. Looks like might have taken fuel only. Did not see tires go up on that 55. Then Banks, Wright, Stravato, and Bell, the rest of the drivers who elected to come down, come out near the front. Lucky dog was Jeremy Miller. He is now 6 laps down, I believe. And the only driver out of the race so far is the 83 of Kyle Peacock.
Well, while we have a chance here, we're going to dial up Christian Angel, Harpoon Designs driver, up in the booth. You got a copy?
What's going on?
Well, Christian, you elected to stay out here. Track position is pretty much the king here at Dover, but What do you feel here? 20 so laps, probably 10 of them under green. What are you feeling here on the tires?
Honestly, man, I just want to see how different new tires are going to make a difference. It's 20 laps in. We're in a long race. Why not early on in the race, see how new tires do versus old tires, and then I kind of know where I'm at the end of the race to know whether or not you can stay out, with, I'd say, like 10, 15 laps to go. Kind of figure out if you can stay out and survive against the guys with the new tires, honestly.
Well, it's good to have that information, even if you have to take a little bit of a gamble here. You've got a little bit of a cushion with Bryce Shoemaker behind you on this restart. What's your take? Are you going to run a certain line? How are you going to navigate this part?
Honestly, man, biggest key, don't spin the tires. Just try to get a clean start here, and if I can get clean air, just kind of maintain it. If the new tires get to me, I'm not going to try to fight them too much. There's no reason in that to cause a wreck or anything. Like I said, this is really just an experiment for me. See how the car feels out front, see how new tires do versus old tires, and we'll just go from there.
Well, Christian, we appreciate your time, and kind of a new name here on V-Speed and an SNR, so hopefully we get to talk to you post-race, buddy.
All right, appreciate it, man. Y'all have a good one.
Harpoon Design driver Christian Angel in the number 76, getting set to be the command car for this restart. Now, I gotta ask Connor, we've seen guys stay out on older tires than this and salvage the day, end up with a top 10, but this is very early in the race. What's your take on this with, making it a learning practice?
Well, definitely experimenting, and it is all right in the race to do this early, maybe save a set of tires, but it is very risky to do this for sure. You put yourself at risk because you got 30 other cars with fresh tires. You put yourself at risk of getting lapped at least once, maybe twice, with how much of a tire difference it is at a track like Dover. You got to be very, very careful, and you need to hold a pretty wheel with all these cars that are about to pass you if you're any of these top three plus Justin Ritchie. So I'm a little worried, especially with how wheel spin is at Dover most nights, most days. So we'll see what gets going here as we're coming into the Geico restart zone. New race leader, Christian Angel, Shoemaker, Ferrada's in third, Justin Ritchie's in fourth, also on no tires. Into the Geico restart zone in a few moments. The green flag in hand, waiting to be waved, and Angel is out and away. The green flag's back out. Shoemaker doesn't go. Ritchie doesn't go, but everyone's straight. It's like everyone got going.
That's a lot of wheel spin there by the 76. Thankfully, nobody to the outside there.
And immediately an Nathan Ferrada's going to go back to the race lead.
That is the move there, but it is chaos from 10th on back.
3 wide. Ray Maxi's up the middle, getting by the 55. What a crazy move that is. We're 2x2 with mixed strategies everywhere. Alex Bell gets into his 8th position. He fell back on the pit sequence. Car sliding. Nope, that's AJ Shavato blinking. Jeff Wright gets by Christian Angel. Those tires are holding, not working for everyone who didn't take them.
Watching Joshua Banks as he works his way up towards the lead. This is the first time that he's had kind of a clear shot at trying to chase down that leader. AJ Stravato having brief connection issues. Joseph McWhorter up 9 spots here, up to 4th.
He had a pretty decent restart there, so 13th starting position up into the top 5. He was running 6th on the long run, so this has worked out for him so far. But once again, Nathan Ferrada gets out to a pretty sizable early race lead. Back second, Stravato, McWhorter, Jeff Wright, the top 5. It's still a frenzy, pretty a little further back in the field for 13th position. Christopher Hodges by Bryce Shoemaker. So fanning out down the back straightaway even further behind. That's the 66 on track, but I believe that is Ben Baffert on the ticker, who was supposed to be in the 14th. I guess thrown back to Timmy Hilfer back. Possibly.
Really loose. Wow.
Oh, man. Michael Muncie just chopped his nose.
Muncie got really loose out of turn 4. Hold on to it. And there's the car falling through this field right here. It's the 55 of Justin Ritchie. He's lost probably since this restart 10 positions. Just behind him, Belke, winner at Iowa on the outside of, I believe that's Ben Baffert. Yeah. You're throwing me with that number, Ben.
he is he's struggling bad right now because we can see the rear bumper it's there, but it's so hurt, so pushed in. It's going to make that car extremely sideways. That Toyota Supra is already back to about the 27th position. The Trejo goes by. He gets to the bottom. Here comes Matthew Radford around the outside, who had a good run going at Daytona before a crash kind of took him out of things, as it looks like the Castro Supra hit the wall. That was Dakota Floyd, but he kept it straight. Ferrata leads. Not really nothing happened at the front. Top 6 kind of spread out. Side by side for about the 13th position. Christian Angel still falling back. Brian Chambliss is by. Here comes Taylor Butcher Benjamin and Mark Whitley. Whitley makes that pass. Butcher Benjamin trying to follow. As you can see, those tires struggling big time.
And they're getting their money's worth here at SNR, putting 40 plus cars on the racetrack. Hard to keep up with all of the action. But if you are enjoying tonight's action, you can hit that subscribe button here on the V-Speed YouTube. You'll never miss a single race we have all season long for season number 3 in the Cup Series. Connor Horn will be up here in the booth doing a lot of lead work right now, Connor, but you know who else is doing a lot of lead work? The 07 of a 9th in Ferrata. He has maintained half a second over Banks.
Unlike me, I think lead work is what Ferrata specializes in, because he's doing a lot of it so far. He's led all but maybe 2 or 3 laps under this most recent caution, but he got up to about a 1.3 second lead last time he had fresh tires. Joshua Banks is not letting him go as easily. The gap's about 5/6 of a second at this point, and Travato's not too far back, but these top 6 have really pulled away at this point in the run. Even Jeff Wright and Alex Bell are further ahead than Ray Massey, and it's pretty packed up behind the 23 in the 7th position. You can see right there, those are 5 and 6, and that's pretty much the rest of the pack. Whoa, someone's sliding hard through turn number 2. Who was that? I think that was Mahalski. Slid out of 2 past the digger cam, but he held on. That was a perfect view. Look at that, just drifted past us there. And he held onto it, hit the apron and everything. Wow.
Held on to it. That's a heck of a save there through 1 and 2. He's going to hold on. He's going to lose a couple spots. That car is starting to struggle on handling and into the outside wall out of 2.
A big hit as well. I don't know if it did much right side damage, but a big hit that's going to take its toll after a bunch of time, as Christopher Hodges just had a moment out of turn number 4. He's going to lose 2 positions to Eric Hutton and Mark Whitley, as Brewer, Muncie, Mahalski, they're all still battling. There's battles all over the racetrack. Ryan Carwile and Seth Hatchell trade positions. The number 8's all the way up into the 15th position after starting at the rear of the field.
Mark Whitley side by side with Christopher Hodges. Hodges is going to fall back to 13th now. The pass is completed for Whitley. 38 laps in out of 160. And it's going to feel like an eternity on these tires. This concrete surface, very abrasive.
The only thing that might be some driver saving grace is that it is a late start time. It's like 5 p.m. sim time, so the track time could be much worse if it was earlier in the day. So I think a lot of drivers will be thanking whoever made the session for that. But either way, Dover chews up the tires like you said. Regardless, we're going to see a bunch of tire wear, and we're probably going to be inching closer to 2 pit stops even still than 1, excuse me. I don't know if these drivers can make it to halfway in this stint to make it a 1-stop, but the pace may be getting slower during the run. Maybe we'll see drivers make it work. It could be the actual strategy. We just got to wait and see. As Ferrata leads, Joshua Banks has backed off a little bit. AJ Shavato's closing in, as looks like some lap traffic ahead. That, I believe, was the 30 of Jeremy Miller's 6 laps down.
We saw that lead go down to the 0.3 of a second, and the 35 started to struggle on handling here. But Stravato right there to pick up the slack, right on the back bumper now. Battle brewing for the top 3. 2nd position up for grabs. Quick pass there by Ferrata to get around the 30 machine, and now it's going to be navigating for 2nd and 3rd.
That 30 struggling on top end speed, well off the pace because of damage from that lap 1 crash, but Shavato's all over the rear bumper of Banks, and you know he's not going to give the 35 that much room on the racetrack. He knows how aggressive Joshua Banks gets with him. He'll give him the same treatment back. expect he's going to wind up the outside line, cut it low, diamond sort of lane out of turn number 4, and you can see it gets that big run out of the corner, and he gets to the inside of the Matco Tools Toyota Supra, but he hit the apron, kind of missed the corner entry there a little bit, and Banks will hold on as this will allow Ferrata to close or get back away. It's now 0.6 of a second.
The spread here amongst the top 5, the second and third position rather close to each other, as you just saw. But then you go back to Joseph McWhorter. He's just now getting around the 30 machine. So that is Jeremy Miller getting past, and then it's back to 5th spot, Jeff Wright, Alex Bell. These are all separated by half a second or more. Then first really close battle on the racetrack outside of the top 5 is Seth Hatchell. He's trying to get by Johnny Rapp, and Christopher Hodges chasing right on his tail.
Got this battle with the 57, excuse me, the 52 just up ahead. Rapp trying to hold on. He's kind of sat where he started, 15th to 12th for the time being, and Seth Hatchell, like we talked about, has come through the field. Not as fast as the 77 of Whitley, but pretty good pace at this point for the driver of the number 8 V-Speed Camaro. Dives to the inside of Rapp. He'll make that pass. Battling behind, I believe, is Taylor Butcher, Benjamin, and Ryan Carwile. That's for the 15th position, just out of frame. The 10 kind of tapped the wall, but he keeps it straight. He'll lose the position at Carwile, and he will lose another to Brian Chambliss for 16th position. But there's battling all around the track right now. I'm even seeing a battle for 32nd place that is pretty big. Bobby Petrica has got 31st position at this point, but Justin Ritchie still on old tires, still falling back, just ahead of Threlkeld, Chambliss, or not Chambliss, Chuck Sweeting, and Derek Garrison.
Oh, we got a foot cam for you. How about that?
What site is this? Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is tonight. This is on the cam.
And you know what site it is. This is the YouTube V-Speed. You don't have to pay for this.
No, you don't. This is a good look at how much work goes into a track like Dover. You're not going to be shifting like at a road course. That's where a lot more work gets done, but you still got to have so much throttle control at a track like Dover to keep the wheels on and keep the tire wear low at any point. And also, you got to nail those shifts if you're using a manual clutch. So we're going to be seeing a lot more of that over this season, I would think, from the 12 of Threlkeld.
And he's locked in and focused here, and we're not going to break that focus. We're going to continue to let him do his thing, as we have completed 49 laps. And Anayat and Ferrata are going to come around and complete that and take lap number 50. Now I got to ask, green flag pit stops, they're starting to become a thing. When do you come down pit road?
Oh boy, I wouldn't want to do anything early because you almost always never get through a set of green flag pit stops at a track like Dover. It might be the hardest pit entry in the series, in any race track, at any race car, out of any racetracks, really. It is such a hard pit entry. You got to slow down before the entry to turn number 3. You got to get to the flat part of the racetrack where your car will likely get sideways, and you got a bunch of barrels to contend with, and you got to get all the way down to 35 miles an hour. It's one of the slowest pit speeds in NASCAR's series, and that's kind of what makes it even more difficult. So I would stretch the fuel as long as it can go, because I don't trust everyone to not hit those barrels and potentially cause a caution. Brewer and Stephen Davis just doored the heck out of each other into turn number 1.
That was heavy contact out of turn 4. Davis is going to get the position, and here comes Dakota Floyd right beside him. Brewer just got a door check, and now as they come out of 3 and 4 again, will he get another one?
I don't know if he will, but one thing I'm kind of surprised to see at this point, whoa, Stephen Davis is loose. A lot of lap traffic the leaders are contending with. Anadian Ferrata just got by most of it. Banks and Stravato get through it. Jeff Wright will now have to get through it, but a lot more lap traffic than what we're used to seeing at this point, as we have lapped up to the 39th place car. I think a bumper just fell off the 66 of Beth Baffert, because I saw a bumper flying down to the turn 1 apron, but there will be no debris cautions. That's not what we do here, as Jordan Trask is the last driver to lead lap. I think Christian Angels had a crash. He's the one who has no front bumper, destroyed the front end of that 76.
I was seeing some things flash on and off, but the 66 is what you said there.
76, sorry.
36?
76.
Yeah, 6. He's off the screen here. Christian Angels lost connection.
I think think he might have just parked it. He had a lot of front end damage. Now he's on pit road watching all the cars go by.
Well, a shout out to my wife for letting me do what I do. I don't think I've ever thanked her on the broadcast before, but she's supposedly watching this broadcast right now. I got to throw that out as AJ Servato makes a pass for the second position. Jeff Wright going to get by as well on the 35. This is up to third for the 48.
Ooh.
Almost contact out of 4.
Yeah, Banks did not want to give up that position, but I think his tires are kind of fading here. He drove hard to stay with the 07 of Ferrata, but now the 07's coming back to them, so he kind of overdrove himself for no reason. Now Stravato's in the catbird seat with the long run pace to maybe get this lead away from the 07 for the first time on track.
So you asked the question earlier, is Ferrata driving it too hard? And it appears the long run speed not there for the 07. And watching up the track, he's going to play defense through 1 and 2.
He's trying to play defense. We had another crash. 19 of Michael Muncie, 37 of Jeff Allen had a crash out of 4, and they kept it going. But somehow, I don't know how that wasn't a yellow. It looked like a big crash, but the battle for the lead's still ongoing, and Ferrata is trying desperately to hold on to it because he probably assumes a caution might be coming out at some point as Jeff Allen almost came back up in front of drivers on the racetrack as the leaders go out of turn number 2. As you can see, all sorts of traffic up ahead for the top 4.
This is an intense battle from first all the way back to 4th. Joshua Banks. There's a sideways movement there by Bravado that loses him a position, and then you have the 5 of McFadden, and we're almost 3 wide.
Way loose is the 07.
Oh, the 5's around.
And that will be a caution.
I think it was Stravado that got into the back of him there.
Yes, it was. Not really much damage done to the 5, but I don't think you'll be happy about that. Another V-speed instant replay. 3rd caution of the night. Ferrata checks things up. Stravado's on the bottom, and McFadden's there, and Stravado boots him. Plain and simple. Don't think he meant to, but the closing rate was pretty extreme.
There's an idea of that closing rate right here. They're side by side.
Yeah, nothing 33 could, I mean, he could have checked up, but like you said, the closing rate's so fast, he's trying to make a move of a lead. You know, it's kind of easy to lose track of that car in front of you when you're looking at what you're battling. So definitely not intentional, but definitely a little mistake on the 33's part, I would say, as once again, everyone on the lead lap comes down the pit road, some with 1 extra tire set. I know the 55 has an extra tire set, and he was able to stay on the lead lap, as were a few others that did that strategy, like the 43 of Shoemaker was one of those as well. But I think everyone is going to bring it to pit road this time.
Alex Bell, Seth Hatchell, of course, getting to keep his pit stall, so that does help in that scheme of things. However, Ferrata is kind of back on the, well, it looks like Jeff Wright's going to beat him out of pit road.
And that is a big turning point in this race for Jeff Wright to get the track position over the 07, who's been so dominant short run. But we saw some cracks from him long run, really sliding the right side tires, and it was almost certain he was going to start fading. But he was able to maintain until the caution came out. But that 48 crew, it's almost like it is Jimmy Johnson's pit crew as he gets the lead away.
We're going to take a quick commercial break here on V-Speed. 61 laps out of 160. So about 100 to go here from Dover. More coverage continues of the Saturday Night Racing League presented by M&J Distributors. We'll be back right after this.
Racing enthusiasts, are you ready to take your sim racing experience to the next level? Look no further because 29 Graphics has got you covered. Introducing 29 Graphics, the premier provider of high-quality sim racing wraps. Whether you're a professional racer or weekend warrior, our custom design wraps will make your car stand out from the competition. 29 Graphics is now the official graphics design partner of Saturday Night Racing League.
It's a big dive. McWhorter might just try to run him out of room here. Oh, he bumped in the wall. They're going to crash. They both crash.
Contact 29 Graphics on their Discord or the link in the video description.
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
In the heartland of our country, something magical is happening. At Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes, we know the power of community, of hands coming together to create wonders. These costumes are symbols of love, compassion, and inclusion. Your hands can craft dreams. Join us at Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes build events and be a part of something extraordinary.
Back in Dover, Delaware for another restart. New race. Leader on fresh tires for the entire field. Jeff Wright, former series champion, jumped Nathan Ferrata in the pits, and he will restart in the lead through the Geico restart zone. And the green flag is back out. Jeff Wright away with the lead. Ferrata kind of spun the tires. Joshua Banks is going to get the second. Ferrata will try to follow him through as Bell gets a huge block thrown at him from Joseph McWhorter into turn number 1.
Had to check up there on that restart. Had a good run going into turn 1. Car in the wall in the background.
Chad Klinger into the wall, but it seems like it didn't do too much damage. Him and Casey Lakatos will go side by side. Ryan Carwile trying to follow the 50 through for about the 10th position or so, as McWhorter and Ferrata almost trade places, but Ferrata's started to get losing some track position. He's starting to lose track position, I should say. He's back in the 4th. Furthest back he's been all race long. Almost had a challenge from the 73 Series champion McWhorter there.
And the car in the wall back there, that was the 52 of Johnny Rapp. He's going to get another poke there from the 09 of Chad Klinger. Eric Hutton just behind this as we go into 1 and 2.
A lot of blinking from a lot of drivers. I'm starting to think it's a server issue and not specific driver issues. Rapp just pounded the wall pretty hard that time, but still kept in the gas in 12th position. As it is still a frenzy, somewhat single file, but still seems frantic. Butcher Benjamin in one of those battles there, right in front of Austin Belkey, Dakota Floyd, and Christopher Hodges. As you can see how hard Hodges is trying to work the wheel, trying to get to the bumper of the 10, and he almost did hit the bumper of the 10 out of turn number 2.
It looks like somebody already did. Look at the left side of that thing.
Pretty dinged up, but won't hurt too badly as long as it's not the entire rear bumper. Still single file, almost saying that. There he goes out of line, looking for the 14th position. Almost contact with Taylor Butcher Benjamin there as Jeremy Miller just hit the pit barrels in turns 3 and 4, but we stay green because he's off the track. That thing's done.
Popped engine?
Yeah, I think that one's done.
Yep.
Oh, it blew up before he even hit the barrels, huh?
Yeah.
Really. He did have a lot of damage. Oh, caution's out. We have a crash somewhere on track, and it might be out of turn number 2. It is, and it is a 0-3 of Noah Mahalski, and he is stuck on the inside wall. Now, I've never seen that. That's another day done. I'm telling you, the Miles the Monster eats race cars for breakfast, lunch, dinner,
Yeah,
and
the
dessert. too.
concrete wall, man. That definitely fits in with the surface of this thing. Let's watch out of 2. This is probably where he's going to have the problem.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, Belky. Wow. How did he not come up into anybody else?
Look out, Ben Baffert, goodness. Yeah, that was wild, and I don't know how he got stuck because he didn't really launch himself into the wall, but he could not get going. The rear tires are spinning and everything, but did not look like Belky really came down too much. It kind of looked like Mahalski just came up a little bit too much, and that's what caused that crash. But I gotta say, it's not something that you see every day. It's definitely a first for me, seeing someone get stuck against the wall when they're not inside the wall, because we know iRacing can be a little glitchy sometimes, but he was just legit kind of high-centered there. As you can see right there, just came up a little too much. And a big hit to the outside wall. Wow, Brandon Wallace.
Well, he
just
also
stopped
popped
by.
the engine there. I don't know that the tires were really spinning. I think the engine had failed prior to that, so maybe just a artifact issue here on iRacing. I mean, we've got a lot going on in this session. Over 30 cars usually starts to push the server to its limit, but we still have about 35 cars out on the racetrack.
Somewhere around there. I know Jeremy Miller will be off the racetrack now. Looks like Mark McFadden's still on the racetrack, a lap down. Mahalski just retired. Jeremy Miller's probably out. Michael Muncy, Jeff Allen, Christian Angel, Brian Hennings, and Kyle Peacock are all currently out of this race. So about 36 cars still in this field.
Well, this is a perfect opportunity. Let's see if we can find another driver. What do you say we dial up Bobby Petrika?
Friend of the booth. First off, let's find him. He is deafened, so I don't know if he's ready to get interviewed quite yet. Wouldn't even know he gets dragged up, so he's just deafened right now. Just grinding 32nd, which is around where he ran before this flurry of yellows. This is about the 4th or 5th at this point.
Well, I'm going to send him a message. How about that?
That would be quite swell. It would get him undeafened. Can't listen to his team like that. Pretty much where, and he's actually noting, I'd only noted until now, it's a special paint scheme for Bobby Petrika. He's honoring Johnny Hockey, Johnny Gaudreau, a very well-known hockey player who unfortunately lost his life in a car accident when he was cycling. So that is a honor to him, and also his brother who passed away in that accident. So a very special scheme for the 28th this week.
That's very young. That's very young.
Certainly.
Well, we'll try to get Bobby up here in the booth. We do have a driver cam with the number 28 machine.
He's undeafened. We could try him right here.
All right, let's see what we got.
Really wish that I'd had a chance to get
Bobby
with, like,
Petrika, you got us up in the booth here, buddy?
Yeah, I do got you guys.
We're getting set to double back up. You were deafened there for a second, but now that we got you, you're sitting back in 32nd. You worked your way through this field once. Can you do it again?
I don't know. This is the type of track I struggle at. I'm still trying to get my head wrapped around. It's like I'm like super loose on entry and then trying to roll speed in the middle, and it's pushing, and just my brain's just, whoa, we're slamming each other under caution back here. But
Little
yeah,
check up.
It's a little struggle.
Yeah, sorry that we got you late on this. We were trying to get you up here. We'll try to get you again maybe later in this race, but good luck on this restart.
All right, I appreciate it, guys.
Bobby Petrika, the number 28.
Meanwhile, let's get this restarted. Jeff Wright got the lead away on pit road. He kept it. We're not even halfway yet, but we're inching up to the halfway point. Geico restart zone. Green flag back out. 48 to the front. 35 to second. 2x2 throughout the field.
Jeff Wright took over the lead for the first time today off of pit road. He hasn't looked back since. He's got some guys back there like a Nathan Ferrata that could very easily do the short run and get back up there.
It's so hard to make passes. You wonder if he'll be able to make these passes because dirty air is still a problem, especially with the cornering speeds as high as they are. It might be really tough to get that lost track position back, as now he's back to 5th. Joseph McWhorter, reigning series champion, got by him to move up a spot inside the top 5. And Mark Whitley started at the back, up to 6th, not too far behind the 07. Alex Bell's trying to recover from poor pit stops. Ray Massey is trying to work around his outside.
Ray Massey held up there on the high line, the 15 with the fresher tires. Going to work by the 23. Just behind that, Casey Lakatos into the top 10. First time today that we've mentioned his name after starting at 16th. He's going to work on the back end of the 23 for 9th.
And he slowly but surely made his way through the field very methodically in typical Casey Lakatos fashion. Not really surprising to see, to be honest, inside the top 10 and kind of in his own world because he's got Massey right in front of him, but a big gap to the 71 of Ryan Carwile, who was about half a second slower last time by as he was in a battle with Chad Klinger. As this is a stack-up 11th on back right now with a bunch of cars involved in this one. Butcher Benjamin's there, Belke, Shoemaker, Chuck Sweeting's back there up into the 21st position as well.
Oh, into the wall there briefly for Hodges, and that's going to allow
straightaway hard into the inside wall. I think it was Philip Brewer, but he kept it straight, so it must not have been as big of a hit as I thought. So he kept it straight down the back. Or was it? Let's see. Who was able to keep going? I'm starting to see Jordan Trash drop down the order. It could have been the 42 off of turn 2. Let's see what happens here as no change for the lead. Just about to cross halfway as we look at this incident. Oh, Threlkeld in the wall. Trash tried to avoid it, and that was the big hit I saw. It was not Philip Brewer. It was Jordan Trash in the DuPont 42.
He is coming to pit road here after bouncing the wall coming across the nose of the 44.
Yeah, that's enough to maybe end your night with a big hit to the inside wall like that. As we cross halfway, it's Jeff Wright in a familiar spot leading the race.
Well, this is the perfect opportunity if you're still watching in that newly, freshly built living area, and your name is Brianna Cooper. You should find that remote control. Turn that volume up, because this is where we get loud here on V-Speed. Hear the sights and sounds from Dover Speedway. Well, it's Get Loud presented by 29 Graphics. And we've got some racing going on side by side for the fourth position. Mark Whitley to the inside of McWhorter in the 07 trying to follow suit.
McWhorter almost stayed on the right rear of his teammate, but just couldn't stay there. So he's going to go back to the 5th position as Mark Whitley's on a charge tonight as the 42 comes back to pit lane. Joshua Banks has been close to the 48, but not able to really make a move. But Seth Hatchell's going to make a move. And Nathan Ferrata continuing to fall a little bit here. This is for the 6th position. He would fall back to 7th as these 4 are kind of on their own. Then he had a train of 3 in behind with the 15 of Bell, Massey, and Lakatos. And a lot more single file action at this point in the race, still with a pit stop to go.
The 07 working really hard, but he hasn't been in dirty air yet today, and this is a different scenario here for Ferrata. You got to see the struggle now. When you're behind somebody, you can see all out of 2. He washed up the racetrack, and that allowed Seth Hatchell, your pole sitter, to get to the inside.
It just shows how important track position is, even with cars with not too much downforce, as Ferrata almost got put in the outside wall by Hatchell there, going side by side. Incredibly tight racing. This shows how important the track position is, because once he lost it, he has faded to a little further back inside the top 10, but just a little further back outside the top 10. Dakota Floyd, Christopher Hodges for 15th position. That Camaro's going to outdo the Supra, the 57 back a spot. Christopher Hodges actually maintains 15th position.
Well, that right there goes to show this race is very undecided. If you've got Jeff Wright up front in the clean air, you give any one of these cars, that kind of proves, because I talked to Jeff just for 2 hours there at Iowa, and we talked post-race. He's not a fan of Dover. And so, not feeling confident coming into this race. I asked him if Adam Cabot was going to be here. He laughed and said no, he won't be there. But we talked about how he hasn't finished in the top 10 in both seasons here at SNR. So for him to be leading this race right now, I just wanted to throw that out there. It was a talking point.
He kind of tapped the wall there, so it's not fully under control even for the driver of the 48, because there was a slight tap to the right rear, at least around the wheel, but I don't think it actually provided any damage. Joshua Banks, AJ Stravato, 2 drivers who are usually fast here, but Jeff Wright, I think, has had top 5, top 10 speed here, but he has not had any luck in the Dover races we've done here in the Gen 4 and in this car last season. So this is a very interesting spot he's in. Still a lot of strategy to outplay a lot of these drivers. Anything could happen. You could see some short pitting, but we could see some drivers try to stretch the fuel, try to catch a caution. Nowhere near over, but he's got to time pit stop right, and you got to get in the pit road cleanly before any of that even matters.
2 simultaneous battles. The first one here that we're looking at is the 07 of Ferrata falls back a couple more positions. Alex Bell gets by. Now the 23 of Ray Massey trying his luck to get by for the 8th position. He'll go to the inside in 1 and 2. Looks like he's going to complete this pass. Ferrata in this dirty air is not favoring this car.
Now all the way back into a 9th position and still kind of fading a little bit. Getting as close to the rear bumper of Ray Massey as he can without tapping the 23, but you can see just no corner exit speed at this point. Gonna have to pull some sort of strategy out to get that track position back. I would think the speed just not there anymore. He has now dropped 4 seconds off the race lead. Caution is out. Another crash, maybe out of 4, and it is Philip Brewer in the 44. And it's another driver out of this race.
It's another popped engine there for the 44. I say that it's another popped engine for this field because we have about 10 cars or so that have elected to come down and tow, and there's another one.
And that will be another retirement from this race. He was battling, or at least running, in the 27th position. Looks like in a battle with Matthew Radford. Another V-Speed instant replay up the track in turn 3. Throttle out of turn 4.
Right there.
And they come together, and then doesn't hold the brake in a huge hit to, I guess it is a safer barrier, but it didn't do too much.
They're only safe when you don't hit them.
It is that when they are at their most safest. And he had it locked down, kind of let out of the brake, I think, trying to save it. But what happened was Radford got in the wall out of 2, so he has a big run to the bottom and tries to take it, but can't fully clear the 97. I don't think he thought he was clear, but just came up a little too much. And I think if he keeps it locked down, he's fine. Tries to get straight there, and it's just not going to happen. So another driver out of this race, but another yellow provides another opportunity for everyone on the lead lap to get another set of tires.
Well, and I think Nathan Ferrata is thankful for this, but he's got to have a perfect stop to get some of those positions back because he fell out of the top 5. He was almost on the verge of going out of the top 10.
Ooh, drag race out of pit lane. I thought Banks was going to get it, but just by a nose, Jeff Wright holds on to the race lead. Jeff Wright over Joshua Banks and Stravato, Whitley, and looks like Seth Hatchell comes out in 5th. And it's been a heck of a climb for him. As we'll get a restart, we should be good without green flag pit stops for the rest of the race. Right here, I thought Banks was going to get him, but had to slow down for the timing lines, get down to 35, can't afford the speed, and throw all that track position away with just over 60 to go. And speaking of speeding, I think Banks didn't, but it looks like Joseph McWhorter is going to the rear of the field. Too fast exiting.
"97 laps complete now as they cross the stripe for lap number 98. Joseph McWhorter going to have to restart from the tail end of the longest line. You're watching the Saturday Night Racing League presented here on V-Speed. We're going to take another quick commercial break. M&J Distributors, the Matco Tools, and Joshua Banks, Clark Print Shop, Walking and Rolling Costumes, 29 Graphics. We'll be back right after this.
I'm Joshua Banks, driver of the number 35 Matco Tools Supra.
Banks, he's gonna send it to the inside. They're 3 wide for the race lead. They're gonna so Banks is gonna win it. Unbelievable.
And also co-owner of M&J Distributors for the sponsor of Saturday Night Racing. So I just want to thank every single one of you for tuning into tonight's race. I hope you will put on a good show for you guys. I hope that you will enjoy it. So if you do, make sure you drop a thumbs up to V-Speed and subscribe to them, because they, as y'all know, if you haven't already, they put on some great broadcasts. So I'll make this short and sweet. The main reason for sponsoring Saturday Night Racing League is because I've been with these guys for a long time. I've raced with a lot of them. I've been through some rough times, some good times, and arguments and everything like that. But still, grand scheme of things, been through a lot of these guys, and I really do like where this league's going. I want to support it. They've given a lot to the league already, and I think, you know, I'm capable to support back. So that's what we're doing, and we want to keep this league free, you know, for people to join, to have a good time, come in and race and just have fun, you know, and that's what we're all about. So that's the main reason, and that's all I really have to say about it. So I hope you do enjoy the race, enjoy the season coming up. We are hopefully going to put on a great season for you guys. Also, make sure to check out my YouTube channel, Banksy the iRacer. Link will be in the description. Check out, and you can see my point of view, see what's happening on my end. If you want to watch it, it's completely fine. If not, no big deal. So come on over, hang out after the broadcast of this race, and hopefully we'll see you over there. If not, enjoy it, and I'll see you guys on track.
Lap traffic out of the way. It's between these two. They're even for the white flag. Back live from the Monster Mile. We've had a flurry of cautions, but we still got 61 laps to decide this race. And Nathan Ferrado was in control. Then some strategy played out, some long runs played out, and Jeff Wright now finds himself in control of this race, and he elects to pick the outside for this restart, something no one's done until right now. 61 laps to go on this latest restart. Banks to the bottom, Wright to the top, with Whitley and Stravato in behind on the front 2 rows. Into the Geico restart zone once again, back out green again, and another great jump for the 48 of Jeff Wright.
That was an excellent jump there for the 48, but that's going to set up a lot behind him. Not a good start for Alex Bell, and you were talking about earlier how he had troubles on pit lane. He's having troubles on these restarts as well.
And that could be where he's losing even more positions up the track, big time, trying to get a run off the corner maybe, and it actually will work a little bit. He'll get 5th back from Seth Hatchell. Butcher Benjamin in the wall a little further back, but kept it straight as single file out through about the top 8 or so. It's like Justin Ritchie. Oh, we got a crash. Chuck Sweeting, Justin Ritchie, Shoemaker out of turn number 2. Stephen Davis spins out, and it is a pile up out of 2, much like the one we saw out of 4 on the first lap.
75 missing the entire front end of that machine. Heavy damage. Chuck Sweeting's luck has carried over from season 1 to season 2 and now season 3. I think we need to come up with an award for the streak that Chuck Sweeting is having. If anybody else out on this racetrack has a streak that's worse than Chuck Sweeting, send us a comment, because it is it's hard to come up with somebody else.
We'll see what. Try to get a view on what happened this time as leaders fake the pit. And Joshua Banks, I thought he was going to pit, but he did not. So no one pits here. V-Speed instant replay. I think Stephen Davis went around near the end of that. But it looked like Chuck Sweeting. Did he? I don't know if he got hit there. It looked like he just lost it.
Yep.
Radford sliding to avoid. I think Stephen Davis might have gotten the boot from the 28 accidentally, but this will be the perfect view to see if he got hit. Ooh, hit the wall hard. And a little tap there. They just lost it, like you said, and then Richie had nowhere to go.
Right on board with Justin Ritchie here.
It actually wasn't that hard of a hit for Sweeting, but it was clearly enough to knock the front end off the thing, but that was a big hit. Just ever so close, but just very sideways on cool tires, and then Richie kind of got booted from drivers behind him. Right there, I think we saw Patrica get into Stephen Davis and spin the 66 around, but it was a harmless spin for Stephen Davis. Get a view of what you see.
Yeah.
It's all good. Checking up. All good. Boot. And you saw that 28 flash by, and I think Josh McWhorter, who just got a speeding penalty, got through it as well.
This brings us back to our live shot, and you know, Jeff Rake had a lot of booth time up here in the Challenger Series, but I think it's time to bring him back up here.
All right, well, let's get it done. I don't know if I can move him out of there. Let's try that again. Nope, I do not have the ability. Oops.
Where's he at?
He's an admin. He's in the admins only racing with Chad Klinger and Brian Chambliss. He's working and driving.
Jeff Wright, if you only knew. Well, this is another chance to bring Bobby Patrica back. Let's try that.
Yeah, let's get him back right now. We can move him. That's a good thing.
Yeah. Bobby, you're back. What do you think?
Hey, well, we're up to 22nd. We missed that wreck. I punted somebody. I was trying to slow down for it. I don't know who it was.
Yeah, we might have saw that. There was a check up there. There was a car on the wall. There was a lot going on. I think the 66 maybe was the one that you tagged, but there was contact before that.
When they wreck like that at Dover, there's just there's just nowhere to go, and you can't do anything abrupt because you'll spin out yourself if you try to take a super quick evasive action.
Oh, Dale's smiling about it, so I think he approves.
He's smiling about everything.
But let me ask you this.
Smiled a little bit more about the Challenger race earlier than this one, though.
Let me ask you this real quick before we double back up. You got the car up a few positions. You're on your way to the top 10. What's the odds we get a 10th place finish at minimum?
We're going to need a lot of people to die in front of us. These types of races, my philosophy is usually just survive and just take advantage of other people's misfortune and just gain those spots. So we'll see what happens here. Just try to keep it clean. I'm kind of up here now in the middle of this hornet's nest. So,
well, you want to plug that Twitch real quick?
Yeah, twitch.tv/beardedgentleman28. Appreciate anybody who comes on over and says hello.
Appreciate your time. Bobby Patrica currently in 21st to get set for this restart.
Appreciate you guys.
As quickly as we cut away from him, we cut to the Geico restart zone. Wright and Banks on the front row again. The 48, not as good of a jump this time. Banks trying to hang on the left rear, and he's going to be there into turn number 1 just barely.
Side by side into turn 1. We were putting Bobby Patrica on the spot, but Jeff Wright's put on the spot here with the 35 and a pass for the lead.
Ooh, it almost contact. Banks drove it really hard on the exit of turn number 2. What a restart. He gets the lead away from the 48. Big move with under 60 to go. Joshua Banks to the point.
Well, we still have our driver cam up there, so we're going to go ahead and flip over to Joshua Banks. What a move there to get by. But you got to see what those restarts are like. It's just, it's a traffic jam.
It is so hard to time it right and get the run at Dover. They're 3 wide in the background. That's not going to work. Dakota Floyd is around in front of the field. Derek Garrison, McWhorter's in it. Radford's in it. Threlkeld. Another pile up. And Stephen Davis, Caleb Weekly, at least half a dozen. Three wide at Dover. Not
3 wide at
usually-
Dover.
And not usually gonna work. Dakota Floyd was in the mid, really was on the bottom of it. You could see it up ahead of Derek Garrison and a few others. When it happens, you're just done.
On board with the 57 of Floyd.
This is the lap before, so it's still all kind of starting to formulate here. Stuck behind Chad Klinger a little bit. Reno in the wall. And they're side by side. No one hits at the front, by the way. And see, I think we're 3 wide at this point, but never really saw in the middle. I think it was Ben Baffert who split the middle, and Dakota Floyd just kind of got put in a bad spot. You could see the chaos it caused. Right here, watch the 66. Right through the middle goes Ben Baffert, and the 57's already up the track. Not in a good spot. He tries to give room, but just no room. A number of big hits, and that speeding penalty by McWhorter ends up costing him. Right there, it's a tight squeeze, Bradley, and not enough to go there. And Baffert almost snuck through it, but hit the inside wall a ton, and then the outside wall. Missing up both ends of that 66 as Garrison came to a halt against the wall as well. I think that'll be the end of a number of drivers' nights. Floyd, Baffert, Brandon Wallace, all on pit road with damage.
Well, we're 110 laps into this thing. We've got 50 to go. The anticipation, the anxiety, there's 1,000 different emotions going on in these drivers' heads right now, Connor, and you got to know that they are intensifying as this race progresses. How do you harness that energy into something productive instead of cautions?
Stop seeing red and just start looking in front of you. A lot of times at the end of a race when things get aggressive, you start seeing red and you start trying to boot people out of the way instead of actually trying to make passes because you know you're kind of strained on time, so you get overly aggressive and probably cause things you shouldn't, do things you shouldn't. You just got to keep a cool head on. You got to just make methodical moves. There's nothing wrong with maybe tapping people getting closer to the rear bumpers, but you can't slam the pass. Not in this series, really not in any series that's actually productive. So you just got to be patient. You still got just under 50 laps left. It's still plenty of time to make moves for someone on the edge of the top 10, like Carwell, Eric Cutton, Lakatos, Ferrata. Those guys still have plenty of time. They just have to keep their head on their shoulders.
While we have another chance here, Connor, I'm going to call you up again. You got this guy dialed up right here. He's currently on pit road. But
He was just in this last crash, Brandon Wallace. He is not in the car anymore. He's had a little bit of a tough night, starting last, but was making good progress. But caught up that last accident. Looks like he's gone at least a lap down. He is back in the car, but probably not too happy with what transpired as we get the one to go.
Not. I would have to say that there's a few drivers out here that aren't very happy. Johnny Rapp, Philip Brewer, Jordan Trask. There's a lot of people that are out of this race now.
And we're only down to
Christian
20. Yeah, Christian Angel, who we talked to early, was out early. He's 41st position. We're only down to 27 lead lap cars at this point. Keith Shoemaker's the one and only driver 1 lap down. And then almost no one else behind Keith Shoemaker is on track. As a matter of fact, I don't think anyone is on track behind the 31. So we're down to 28 drivers on the track currently. But even through all that, we got a new race leader in Joshua Banks, but he got the lead from the inside, but he also picks the outside. Interesting move. So we'll see what happens as we get into the Geico restart zone once again. They sponsor NASCAR. They should probably sponsor us because we're seeing that restart zone a lot tonight with just about 48 laps to go. Banks on the top, the race leader. Right on the bottom, who's been dominant. Green flag back out, and it's a good jump for the 35 of Banks.
Stravado, Bell side by side there briefly into the wall for Stravado.
And he got a squeeze from Mark Whitley just a little bit. Kind of ran himself out of room though. And Bell's going to get that 5th position away. Seth Hatchell trying to move up through the field as well. Single file through the top 7 as a smoker at a turn 4. That's Brandon Wallace's car actually smoking on pit road, so no incident there as Banks is pulling away with the race lead by 3.5 tenths.
They're cutting a few cars that are outside of this top 10, trying to work their way back up. I want to get a good shot of this car. I like this paint scheme.
Always
Look
looks
at the 51.
nice.
Oh, I'm
that
sorry.
paint scheme?
Sorry. You might have been talking about the Canes. That's a good looking one too.
Oh, that one's good too, but I think the 51's solid. They're both good paint schemes. I remember when Eric Hutton's allegiance was still towards Chick-fil-A, but he switched over in recent seasons to the Racing
he
Canes
left.
mobile.
He left the Chick-fil-A.
That's right. He left the Chick-fil-A. Now
That's
he's been on the
God's
Raising
chicken.
Canes.
How can you leave that?
I don't know. He just had to, as he almost got into the 51. Well, really, the 51 almost got into the 88. Chopped the nose of the Raising Canes bird, as he's going to move up into the 11th position. He looks for 10th on Ryan Carwile.
Trying to get a top 10 here for Christopher Hodges, and dives back into the groove and going to get a big run here on the 71.
Going to try to wind it up outside to inside diamond move, and he got a good run off the corner to get back to the inside, but so hard to make this move on the bottom without washing up into the driver on the outside. But he got a good run through the center of the corner, but Carwile with the higher line is going to be able to get the run off, and he's got to set back into 11th. But here comes the 88 trying to fill that hole on the top side. Couldn't quite do it. Hodges stays in 11th, trying to work over the 71. As looks like Alex Bell stays in 4th, but AJ Stravado did have a look at for a moment there. As looks like Chuck Sweeting is going to get 18th from Caleb Weekly a little further back. Look at this run.
Did you say Chuck Sweeting?
He's still alive. He's 18th. He's looking good for now. Let's hold our breath. But he is still running out here, and he did find the front end.
Wow. That's impressive that that car's even running. The Butcher Benjamin in 15th position, just in front there of Austin Belkey, the winner at Iowa. Belkey falls back to 16th spot, but he's still up 12 positions. A lot of big gainers in this race. Eddie Trejo, here's a name we haven't said too much tonight. He's up 24 spots, biggest gainer of the race so far.
And at least, let's not knock on wood, I do have a little wood on my desk. He does have a decently clean race car at this point in the 17th position, so still trying to get what he can at this point in the race, just behind the 75 of Sweeting. That stack up for 10th is still pretty volatile behind Ryan Carwile. Christopher Hodges is trying to work the 71 over, but he keeps going to the inside. Carwile keeps re-clearing him, and it's just the same cycle over and over. And you could throw Joe Schmuck-Warder back into this thing as well, as he is going to blink out at a pretty bad time. Here comes the 88 to the outside.
That might be the worst moment for a blink. And now he's side by side for the 12th position. Hutton's going to get by.
He's going to go down a few positions. That's the tough thing. If you don't make that pass on the bottom, you're going to go backwards if we got people in line trying to line you up. That's exactly what happened there. Alex Bell lost 4th back to AJ Stravado just up ahead of this battle. Bell getting challenged by Seth Hatchell for that top 5 position. At the same time, really tight on the door of Seth Hatchell. They come together almost 3 wide. Ferrata looking for a lane through, but can't find a way by.
A 9th and Ferrata.
Out for the lead. Here comes Jeff Wright for the lead. Dove down to the inside of Joshua Banks. Such a hard pass to make. Coming to 36 laps to go. Next time by, that outside line prevails and Banks keeps the spot. And look at the guy who started at the back of the field. Mark Whitley up to third, possibly closing in on both of these guys.
I was just going to say, Ferrata has not recovered since he lost this lead. He's fallen out of the top 3 and the top 5, really. Dirty Air has not been kind to that 07 at all. So the practice and the strategy looks like it didn't equate for being in traffic throughout this race.
It looks like he at least got some positions on the restart. We saw him fall back to as far as 9th. He is back up to 7th, but if this race possibly goes close to green to the end, we'll see what those tires are looking like by the end, as Hatchell trying to close in on the 15 of Bell for a top 5 starting position. Still trying to catch up to Mark Whitley, who started pretty much with him on this same EOL. I wouldn't call it a strategy, but it was an EOL for both of them regardless. And you can see just how high the pace is. Not a lot of off-throttle time here. You are getting on the brakes, but the corner speeds are so high. You're hitting almost 170 into the corners, but you're still down to only 135 in the corners. It's not much variance, and it makes for a really fast track at this point in the race, running 24.4s at this point in the race.
Banks has actually pulled away a little bit here, and I don't know if that's Jeff Wright doing what he does with the tires. He's a little loose there coming off of turn 2, or if maybe the 48 and that Dirty Air has lost the ground and he's going to fall out of the top 5. He's slowly getting reeled in by Mark Whitley.
It could be a number of things we could be seeing. We could be seeing Jeff Wright trying to cool his tires. He knew Joshua Banks was going to push hard if he showed him a nose, so maybe he's letting Banks wear his stuff off and he's conserving. But it could also be where the 40 had one push on him. He had one chance to get by Joshua Banks, couldn't make it happen. And like you said, the tires could be wearing at this point. I think it's one of 2 options. You can see the rear end kicking out off of the corner. It's now a 6/10 of a second gap to the 35. And I think that 77 is faster at this point. Had some contact with Ferrata and Hatchell, by the way, into turn number 1. Oh, they just hit again down the back straightaway, the 07 and the 8, as this battle for 6th is going sour really quickly.
They're gonna hit again.
Wait. Big contact, and Hatchell's not happy, and here comes Ray Massey. And with more contact, that's the boot. And he wrecks him. Overcorrects into Seth Hatchell, throttles up back into him, and both of those drivers are in it and done. And that will be certainly looked at as we get a yellow with 30 laps to go. That was
There's the contact at the backstretch.
That was the second instance of contact. They had contact in the turn 1 the lap before. Then out of turn number 4, 07 hits the apron. And there's more contact, and then into turn number 1 again, the 07 kind of slides up in front of the 8, gets the boot, and then an overcorrect there, and then how about we finish it off with another boot, front end to front end.
I think somebody's a little bit frustrated. There's a touch into 1. That's the first one you were talking about.
All
then
the
we're
race
going to see the
come
back.
down, by the way.
Oh, this is too good to look away from.
We don't need to. I don't think the strategy will be too complicated. So that was 1. There was 2. Then we go into out of 4. This is 3. You think 3 strikes, you're out, but I don't know which one was supposed to be out at this point.
This is you're out. This is you're out right here.
Well, this is get out of the dugout, and then this from the 07 is okay. You're banned, basically. You're banned from the dugout. Because after the wreck, it seemed like he was done with the 8 just as much as Seth Hatchell was done with him. Yeah, both drivers out of this race. Joshua Banks did win the race off pit road. You can see these drivers were throwing haymakers at each other.
Yes.
And right here, Ferrata, I think he just overcorrected too hard. And then he comes back for second. Bam.
Well, we gotta see this from the 07's perspective. I mean, that's only fitting.
He was the one trying to make the pass. Saw the second one right there. This is going to be the third. You see, the Hatchel's pinching him hard, so he probably felt crowded to the apron. So I'm sure they'll disagree on almost all of these hits. And then he dives in here, just slides the rear before he even entering the corner, then gets the boot, then overcorrects, and bam, definitely throwing him into the front end of the 8. And ended his day as well as Seth Hatchel.
Man, that's something.
And the attrition rate increases, as so does the strategy a little bit. Joshua Banks got off a pit lane first. Logan Threlkeld has decided to stay out.
Well, he's gonna get a lap led, at the very least. But
that's a positive.
I would say the 12's probably gonna come down pit road. If he learned anything, that should come down pit road. Question mark?
If we're at 2 to green, pit lane would probably be closed for him. I don't know. We'll see what he does, but this will be no bueno. If he stays out.
That's a lot of laps. That's 40 laps.
It ain't gonna work. I'll tell you that right now. If he stays out, could be out of tires, but I don't think he should be.
Well, he's smiling on his camera right now.
Is he gonna do it? He's toying with us at what he's doing, and he will come down the pit lane.
He was smiling. I saw him smiling.
And I'm sure Jeff Wright is like, thank you, because he would have been pinned in a bad spot if Threlkeld stayed out. But yeah, that makes the strategy pretty straightforward. And I'm not even sure if anyone has tires left. We've taken a lot of sets. You got 5 for tonight. You get the tires you start with and 4 extras in the pits. Might have used all 4 at this point. Besides those guys who stayed out on one of the first 3 cautions, like the 43 of Bryce Shoemaker, who is still in this race, he could have a set of tires near the end of a race. We'll have to see. But either way, everyone has 4 tires for this restart. 25 lead lap cars. Joshua Banks trying to maintain the lead for yet another Saturday night race in the victory. Looking for win number 6, which would put him solo second all-time in the series.
Sharks with blood in the water right now in the top 5.
And this is going to be, this is going to be wild. The sun has pretty much gone pretty far down at this point. The track is in total shade. Track temps coming down. Speeds are coming up. Intensity's through the roof.
Track's about to be in shambles.
We'll have to wait and see. It did come apart about 10 years ago, but we don't have to talk about that. Joshua Banks on the outside, Jeff Wright on the inside, the 2 dominant drivers in the second half of this race. Green flags back out. A great jump for Banks, and Stravato from 4th position is going to have a shot at 2nd. Stravato washed up, couldn't hold it. He's going to lose 3rd, maybe no. Whitley got way sideways off the corner, and the battle will be for 3rd as Jeff Wright is able to maintain that 2nd position as the sun pops back out in turns number 3 and 4.
2x2 from 3rd on back to about the 10th position. There is Ray Massey on the outside of Alex Bell, and hard into the wall by Stravato.
He got right behind Whitley. I don't think there was contact, but it didn't seem like he was appreciative of how he was raced possibly, but it looked to be just a mistake by the 33, and that did big damage. Bell's going to be a loser out of that battle. Ray Massey is going to dive to the inside for a 4th big dive, almost into the side of AJ Stravato.
These pinches in the corner. The 50.
Turned by, I couldn't tell who it was, but somehow everyone avoids him.
How? That's 25 cars that just avoided the 50.
A restart with under 20 to go, you say? Oh, man. This has been wild. This is the battle for about the 7th position.
He's already loose. He was already loose.
It looked like he got sideways. McWhorter could not check up in time, but somehow it was not worse than just the 50 going around.
Yeah, I don't know how nobody got into the back of that. We'll watch this from the blimp camera.
15 kind of checks up, the 50 maybe a little bit. He boxes Carwile in, and then he probably thinks, I'm going to dive to the inside, maybe get the bell. That doesn't happen. He got loose right there, and he never catches it, never gets the rears back under him, and Warder just can't do much there. 88 might have got some damage. Oh, wow, who was that? That looked like the 43 during someone just to get through it cleanly. But everyone got through relatively well. So watch Bryce Shoemaker. Is it going to be with Butcher Benjamin? Yep, that was tight. Wow.
Let's watch it on board. I think that's going to do it more justice here.
Alex is going to pit. So does Brian Chambliss. Don't know who has tires and who doesn't. Ooh, you know what he was doing? He was avoiding Chuck Sweeting as well.
Yeah.
That was tight. Brandon Wallace gets the lucky dog. He's maybe the only driver left that's... Well, no, Logan Throwcode was laps down, but it looks like Brandon Wallace got the lucky dog. Maybe the 12 got incident points checking up for the accident. But Brandon Wallace will get one of his 15 laps back. 14 to go. Which I don't think he'll get.
So we're going to have less than 20 to go when we hit this restart. You're watching the Saturday Night Racing League, presented by M&J Distributors. Take a quick commercial break here, get a refresh on the voice. We'll get these final restarts underway here on V-Speed. More coverage continues right after this.
Racing enthusiasts, are you ready to take your sim racing experience to the next level? Look no further because 29 Graphics has got you covered. Introducing 29 Graphics, the premier provider of high-quality sim racing wraps. Whether you're a professional racer or weekend warrior, our custom design wraps will make your car stand out from the competition. 29 Graphics is now the official graphics design partner of Saturday Night Racing League.
It's a big dive, and Warder might just try to run him out of room here. Oh, he bumped in the wall. They're going to crash. They both crash.
Contact 29 Graphics on their Discord or the link in the video description.
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
In the heartland of our country, something magical is happening. At Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes, we know the power of community, of hands coming together to create wonders. These costumes are symbols of love, compassion, and inclusion. Your hands can craft dreams. Join us at Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes build events and be a part of something extraordinary.
Another caution means another restart. We've had plenty of those tonight. The restart comes with 18 laps to go. Joshua Banks got the lead from Jeff Wright on a restart from the bottom. Wright will have to do the same to win this race with AJ Stravato and Mark Whitley lurking into the restart box once again. The 35's away. We're green once again, and Banks gets away with the lead once again as Jeff Wright tries to hold on. Stravato gets to the right rear and to turn number 1, but can't hold it. 48 the second. Whitley trying to follow through back to third, and he will.
A lot of cars getting up to the outside wall, and there's Massey to the inside of the 33 Stravato. Side-by-side battle for fourth. Ray Massey's going to come out on top. Here comes Alex Bell, the next one in line.
That right front damage that Travato got from hitting the outside wall at a 2 last restart really looking to hurt him as everyone's pinning the bottom line where he's stuck on the top line. This is for 5th position. Dell trying to get into the top 5 after starting outside front row. Got the run through the center of the corner, but can't hold it as well. Travato holds out on the outside line.
Less than 15 to go. It's a lot of side-by-side here. I don't know if Bell can complete this pass. He's been working on it for 2 laps now.
The problem is if he doesn't complete it, here comes Joseph McWhorter, here comes Ryan Carwile, Eric Hutton. Saying that, Hutton goes to the inside of Carwile for position at the same time, so 2 battles in the same frame. And you can tell, I think Alex Bell is a touch faster as that's going to complete the pass right there. Travato into the outside wall again, and now he's in a fight with McWhorter for what is now 6th position.
Joshua Banks is pulled out about 0.2 of a second here. But Jeff Wright lurking and
Goodness. Top 3. Their times were within 3/1000ths of a second of each other, the top 3. And
yes.
you can throw in Ray Massey a few hundredths off, but right there, hitting the wall, trying to get to these top 4. That time, Banks a little faster. The clean air, when the track is this cool and there's so much grip and you're able to go so much faster through the corners, it makes passes that much more difficult. It makes the 48's job that much harder.
Well, then you got these guys in 5th on back that are racing side by side, actually 6th on back. Hey, Travato with that outside damage, just, it's killing that car.
And it's killing this line because McWhorter can't complete the pass, and he's sideways off the corner, and he held on to it. Here comes Carwile giving the 73 a shot. He not only saved that car, but he's almost still going to make this pass. So close to clearing the 33, but can't quite do it for the 6th position. And that 71 is going to loosen him up even more entering the corner with the front nose on the spoiler, taking air off, and it's going to hurt that 73 even more as he is desperately trying to get this pass done. Coming to 10 laps to go this time by as Wright starts to fade off the rear bumper of Joshua Banks a little bit. 2x2 for 6th.
Well, I'm just going to keep working the cameras. 10 to go.
And it is frantic for this spot. Travato's just fighting for everything he can. He knows if one person passes him, here comes a whole lot more. And he's doing such a great job to pinch the 73 down. McWhorter just doesn't have the rear grip to do it. Now here comes Carwile giving a shot to the 33 of Travato. 8 laps of racing to go, 9 to go. Let's not give us an extra or minimum lap there as Carwile is on the bumper. Travato contact. McWhorter sideways to the bottom, kept it straight again, but he's getting roughed up and pinned to the bottom line by this 33. More contact. Carwile over the rear bumper. Here comes Hutton. 5 cars under a blanket for the 6th position. This is all happening 2.3 seconds behind Alex Bell, who's pulled away from this fight after he cleared Travato. More contact there. More door banging. Coming this time by to 7 laps of racing to go.
You got to be sweating at this point. One wrong move.
And it's over.
Oh, yeah. This miscues here. They go bad in a hurry, and there's a lot of cars behind this.
And this is the battle right now. Joshua Banks, 0.8 of a second lead, pulling away from the 40. Oh, Travato gets turned into turn number 3. McWhorter, Klinger, all in the outside wall. Caution is out. We're going to get a late race restart.
There was the miscue.
Yeah, I'll say. That's all it takes. And if anyone has a tire set left, it could get interesting. And it kind of looks like McWhorter came up a little too much. Goodness, how entertaining it was, though. Chad Klinger lost the right front suspension in that. The 51 gets damage out of it. You kind of saw that coming with how tight they were racing.
Yes.
Too little too far up. And then McWhorter just didn't have room to get by himself. I think Carlisle did a video game move to maybe minimize damage there.
But Chad Klinger gets the worst end of this.
He sure does. There's nothing he can do. He's just nothing anyone behind McWhorter and Travado can do. They're just hoping someone clears someone. Hutton got big sideways. This was, what, 8 cars under a blanket. Oh my gosh, I don't know how Carlisle got through that. I think the 88 did too. But when you're on the top side at any track and it happens into the corner, you're not going to avoid it. And that's what happened with Chad Klinger and the 51. You see Eric Hutton. When you're on the bottom, you have at least a few more options possibly. And him getting loose might have helped him too. That was right in front of him.
Up a little bit.
Ooh, he just avoided the 33.
09 at Klinger, the 51 of Hodges also involved in that.
That was as big of a crash as you'll see entering a corner here. The only other one I could think of was Logano's flip, and in fairness, that is bigger. But yeah, those 4 just ran out of room. Austin Belke was one other driver who just barely got through it, and that's promoted the 89 up into the 13th position by avoiding that. And likely to get a green-white checkered here. And I don't think time is an issue. We should be able to get everything in, but the timer is down to 16 minutes to go as we approach a potential green-white checkered here. But importantly, what this does, it gives Jeff Wright one more shot at the 35 on the restart.
I mean, based off of these restarts, it's kind of similar to really Iowa or any place we've been at SNR. It's so difficult to be that guy inside or outside. You're not the command car. You have to maintain that speed limit. You have to wait for that guy to go. How difficult, Connor, is it to get this thing going and stay side by side?
It's going to be really tough. I'm still impressed Joshua Banks was even able to do it. It's definitely a little bit of luck, but it's also it has a lot to do with your reflexes. If your reflexes are on point, you're going to be able to get a good jump no matter what the leader does. But once you get into that Geico restart zone, when we're using restart zones, you just got to be ready to go and then mash the throttle, especially when the temps are this low. And you just got to be ready to go. You got to time it perfectly, and you got to be looking to your right or left, looking at the leader to get a view on where he goes. You got to have buttons mapped if you only have a single monitor like me. If you have triples, that makes it a little bit easier, but it's so hard to time it right to where you get a good jump on the leader, but also don't get a penalty. That's what Jeff Wright's going to be fighting here. And just getting through 1 and 2 is going to be tough. If he can stay to be inside of a 35, he might have it with how much grip is on the bottom line right now. If he could just full throttle 1 and 2, he might have a chance to get Banks here, but he has got to be right there into turn number 1. And this is not a green-white checkered, by the way. This is a natural attempt in regulation, so not taking up an attempt, but either way, 2-lap, 2-mile shootout at the Monster Mile. Does Miles have any more chaos on the ticket into the restart zone? Banks the leader on the top, right on the bottom, trying to get the jump. Green flags back out, and perhaps the best jump all night for the 35 as he gets away.
And that jump there on the inside actually created a check up there, and Bell thought he could take advantage of it. Ray Massey, he could get a podium finish out of this. 3 wide behind him.
And they're side by side for second, and that will be all Joshua Banks needs except the white flag. He needs to get to the white flag to know this one's official at a 4. Here he comes. He's going to get it. White flag one more time around the Monster Mile. Someone into the inside wall almost. They saved it. Belke goes 3 wide, but it's Joshua Banks ahead of the pack through turn 2. Jeff Wright the second, Whitley and Massey side by side for third. Carlisle and Bell side by side, 2 by 2 everywhere. Joshua Banks coming out of turn number 4, win number 6 in Saturday Night Racing League, first of the season for the 35. He gets it done in Dover as they crash into the line.
And how about Ray Massey getting third by 1/100th of it, almost 2/100ths of a second.
And somehow they didn't crash. Alex Bell saved it. What a finish. What a race that was for the third position. And what a drive from Joshua Banks. Second all-time on the Saturday Night Racing League wins list. Congratulatory little wheel spin from the 15, his teammate. And that 35 will burn it down.
This race interviews with your top 3 final results coming up right after this. You're watching the Saturday Night Racing League Cup Series live on V-Speed.
Racing enthusiasts, are you ready to take your sim racing experience to the next level? Look no further because 29 Graphics has got you covered. Introducing 29 Graphics, the premier provider of high-quality sim racing wraps. Whether you're a professional racer or weekend warrior, our custom design wraps will make your car stand out from the competition. 29 Graphics is now the official graphics design partner of Saturday Night Racing League.
It's a big dive. McWhorter might just try to run him out of room here. Oh, he put him in the wall. They're going to crash. They both crash.
Contact 29 Graphics on their Discord or the link in the video description.
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
In the heartland of our country, something magical is happening. At Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes, we know the power of community, of hands coming together to create wonders. These costumes are symbols of love, compassion, and inclusion. Your hands can craft dreams. Join us at Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes build events and be a part of something extraordinary.
Back at the Monster Mile, another wild race here at this 1 mile circuit. Done another season in Saturday Night. Gone here all 3 seasons in this series, and we've got once again, I believe, a different winner here. Adam Cabot season 1. Last season it was Alec Martinez in one of his few starts taking a checkered flag, but the second Xfinity Series race for this series goes to the 35 of Joshua Banks as he tames Miles the Monster, which a lot of drivers could not do tonight after a 10 caution affair with a few lead changes to boot. Banks gets the victory over Jeff Wright, passed him on the lap 105 restart. That turned out to be the final pass for the lead in this race on track. Wright second, Ray Massey rallied to P3 just by hundredths over Mark Whitley. Carwell survived that crash with a 33 and 73 to get a top 5. Alex Bell slips back to 6th. They are cut to 7th. Hodges, the 51. Christopher Hodges gets an 8th. He will like that. And how about Chuck Sweden getting into the 9th position after everything he went through? I don't know how either. After starting at the back, comes all the way to 9th after being in incidents. He will take that for sure. As will Bryce Shoemaker, who I believe did put on a final set of tires near the end of that race. Not as effective as it would have been during the day a little earlier, but he'll take a top 10 as well.
Yeah, you said Chuck Sweeting in the top 10. I don't know how he did it, but
it's real.
Congrats to him. Yeah, it's got to be real. Casey Lakatos is going to finish in 11th with AJ Stravado. Unfortunate there with the 33. I'm sure that they'll go back and look at everything, review it, but 33 Stravado is going to finish 12th. Taylor Butcher Benjamin is going to get 13th with Austin Belkey 14th. Max Cost in 15th position with Matthew Rafford in the 97 will finish 16th. Caleb Weekly 17th. 18th, Eddie Trejo. Bobby Patrica in 19th, and rounding out your top 20 is Brian Chambliss.
And Chambliss, probably not what he wanted. He ran better than that, as did a few drivers outside the top 20. Keith Shoemaker, 21st. Mark McFadden, 22nd. He got spun by Stravado a little earlier in the race. Logan Threlkeld had a different strategy, but he was a lap down near the end, 23rd. Joseph McWhorter out of the race on that final caution, but he still got a 24th position. Chad Klinger also involved in that crash, 25th. And then Brandon Wallace got back on track to maintain 26th. And then an Athian Ferrata, Seth Hatchell, drama between those two. We'll see what gets called after that incident and a little bit more extracurricular activities. 27th and 28th for them. Justin Ritchie, 29th. And Stephen Davis, who had an incident on lap number 1, got a 30th place finish out of the day.
31st is going to go to Dakota Floyd, Ben Baffert in 32nd. Derek Garrison in 31st. I think my 33rd. Everything's a little bit broken here, my scoring sheet, so I'm just going to go with Philip Brewer in 34th. Trass in 35th. Johnny Rapp in 36th. Noah Mahalski at 37th. Miller, Muncie, and Allen to 40th. And then 3 more cars here with Christian Angel, Brian Hennings, and Kyle Peacock, who had very early problems in this race. Timing and scoring was a little bit off, but I can tell you what's not off. Our third place finisher here today, Ray Massey. How about that for the 23 team? Ray, I know Chris was up there on the box telling you what you needed to do, but execution is what you had. You came out of turn 3, got into turn 4, and completed that pass by 2/100ths of a second.
I was giving it all I had, hoping not to slide up into him, because I've throttled up and prayed.
You did what you had to do. I know you were up on the box there in the Challenger Series here today, and I know Chris struggled a little bit, but he returned the favor, got up there, top tier movement. You worked your way through this field to gain 7 positions. How'd you do it?
I needed long runs, Bradley. I'm not really good on cold tires, but the closer I got to the front, the better the car drove. I guess less dirty air, whatever. So just had to buy my time. A few of the guys made mistakes, and yeah, Chris did a good job keeping my head calm and focused on the task at hand.
Well, finally, I got to ask you, the 23 car has been very potent. You got to win there at Charlotte, or at Chicagoland, rather. I know that maybe there's moments here in the season that you feel like you shouldn't be where you are, but you always find your way up towards the front towards the end of these races. And how does that feel to know that you can do that?
Oh, it's a great feeling. This league is stacked with talent. I mean, top to bottom, there's some really talented drivers. So anytime I can get a top 5, I'll take it. It's, I tell them, thinking about it, just if you're going to try and get a top 10, you got to come through me. So anytime I can get in the top 5, that's a good feeling, and get a podium and talk to you guys is always fun.
Well, outside of that, Ray, I know you got a big list of people that support you and help you through these races. Anybody you'd like to shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, I always shout out Chris, coworker. He's my spotter. My dad, he does crew chief and pit strategy, stuff like that. He's on the pit box for me. And Clark Print Shop, that's my brother-in-law's business that we put on the car. And then Walking and Rolling Costumes. I love those guys and the work that they do. And appreciate you guys in the booth. Y'all do a great job on V-Speed and all the admins here in the league. We've got a lot of growth in this league, and it's fun to see. So love coming out here on Saturday nights.
Appreciate your time there, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week when we pick it back up
Sounds
here
good.
on Saturday. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Bradley.
Third place finisher here tonight. We're seeing it on the screen here, but it doesn't really do it justice. Can we do it real quick, Connor? Is it okay if we just hit the replay button and hit this at full time?
Yeah, let's get something. Let's show this real quick on the instant replay. This thing has gotten a big use tonight before we get to our second place finisher, Whitley. Thought Whitley was going to get this third position because I thought he was going to get second from Jeff Wright, but he kind of got shoved up out of the groove in there in turn number 1. Let's Massey get to the bottom and have a big run to the bottom here, and then he just sends it, I assume, into turn number 3, trying to get this spot. A little harder than 77, pinched down hard, comes through 3 and 4. Still getting pinched, but he never lifted off the gas, and it was a clean run to the finish by both those drivers, and Massey came out on top.
Well, we got a lot to unpack here. Let's catch up with your second place finisher, Jeff Wright. Jeff, I tried to interview you earlier in this race. You were hiding. You were hiding on me.
Yeah, I was sitting in the admin channel today. Typically, I'm not there, so my bad. But hey, you found me now.
Well, for whatever reason, my timing and scoring is broken. There we go. We got it correct now. Jeff, you were up there. Maybe that's the channel you should hang out when you're racing at Dover, because it seemed to help you tremendously. You led some laps here, 45 laps led, 6th position start. You worked your way through this field methodically, and somehow during those pit stops, you came out on top and just kind of stayed there for a while.
Yeah, track position is really, probably the biggest thing here at Dover. It is so hard to pass, and on top of that, we had a full 40-car 3 field that's, everybody's just really fast. So, when everybody's running the same speeds and the line is really narrow, just makes it very difficult to pass. We had a really good long run there. We drove up from like 6th place, was able to get up to 2nd, and then I was able to grab a spot on pit lane, which, got me the lead. But then, I lost it to Josh there on one of the restarts. He's really good on the restarts and just timed it perfectly, and he drove it deep off into turn 1, and I couldn't drive in deep enough to stay at his right rear, and he cleared me, and I kind of knew that was probably the race there at that point. But and Josh obviously super fast, so even though we got a handful of restarts, I knew I wasn't going to pass him under green flag conditions. It was going to have to be on pit lane or pit road or on a restart rather. So, and I just could never do it. I had several attempts at it, but just couldn't get the job done. So big congrats to Josh though. He went out and he earned that one for sure.
Well, Jeff, you go from in the booth to race car driver. Now you got to go into put the other hat on and be, race control and league admin. You kind of do it all. So I got to ask here for season 3, we're only 2 weeks in. How does it feel right now to put on something this successful?
Yeah, it feels awesome, but it's not just me. We got a lot of help. We got a lot of other admins, Brian Chambliss, Reggie Ortega, Bryce Shoemaker, Chad Klinger. They all, put in just as much effort as I do to, run this thing. So big shout out to them. And then obviously big shout out to all of our sponsors involved, and M&J Distributors, Joshua's company that, does so much for us, 29 Graphics, Walk and Roll Costumes, as well as Clark Print Shop. So all the money they put up for us so that we can continue to, have a, entry-free league. That's awesome. And, 43 cars, you can't get better than that. So just going to try to keep things rolling here and looking forward to get the rest of the season.
We did it perfectly, just like we do it up here in the booth at V Speed. He thanked everyone. I don't even have to ask. Jeff Wright, 2nd position here tonight at Dover. Congratulations, buddy.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
And that will bring us to victory lane. Connor Horn has caught up to the winner of this race. We have Joshua Banks on standby.
And we do have Joshua Banks. Banks gets the victory lane for the 6th time in Saturday Night Racing League. Joshua, you were fast. You were top 3 a lot of the night, but Jeff Wright had the advantage until lap 105. Restarts are crucial here. It's hard to get the jump on the leader, but you were able to do it. Take us through that restart where you got the lead and how you did it.
I mean, I'm excited, man. This is huge. I'm not gonna lie to you. To come out here in Dover and be competitive, we usually are. I mean, I'm pretty good at this track to be up front competing for wins. But when you got drivers like Jeff and Mark and AJ, and then guys like that, and then unfortunately we didn't have Kavitz, and that would have been a deciding factor for sure. But Guys like that out here, it is tough. And so that restart was like the one in a million restart. Somehow the car stuck. We timed it right with Jeff to keep at his right quarter and just sent it. I knew what we had to do at that point. It was less than 50 to go, and we had to go. I mean, I wasn't going to be wall banging aggressive, but we had to go. Because when you're behind them, and y'all saw it, that being behind somebody, it's not fun because you're falling the air, dirty air, and the tires wear out quicker. And at least for me anyway. And we just had to make it work. So somehow we made it stick. Somehow we got the lead, and I don't know. I'm just blessed that we were able to hold it and keep it in front.
Yeah, it definitely seems shocking with how hard restarts are, especially on the bottom, to get that advantage, especially out of two. It's definitely seemed like the deciding factor of this race, and I think a part of that was because, unlike other races we've seen here, track temps were cool because of how late the session started. So it seemed like it was hard to pass on the green flag runs anyways. Did you think you were gone at that point after you got him with how cool the track was, and how are you trying to maintain that track position on the last few restarts?
Uh, it was basically I was debating whether the bottom or the top because you could restart either one. I think I just felt like the top was better for when you're in 1 and 2 in case Jeff or whoever would have been in second could have got to the outside and got around because that's where the ideal line was to pass. If you can get to somebody's outside, the car was loose, but yet the way the car traveled, it was tight, so it was hard to make the line work on the bottom when you get the going. So that's why I was sticking to the top on the restarts, just making sure even if Jeff got to my inside still into 1 or 2, I would still have that pinch off of 2 and maybe clear him there. But luckily, we were able to time those restarts great and get a jump and get a car length ahead of them going into 1. So it was fun. Early on, it was great with the loose car, with the rear getting really really hot and slick and stepping out. I mean, y'all probably saw that we were stacked first to fourth, and that was fun. Even though I felt like I was burning my stuff up, it was still fun because we were all over each other trying to get a line and make it work and such. But then it just got cool and it gripped up a little bit. You can definitely see it got gripped up because probably the speed's picked up, but it worked, and I'm glad that we got the lead before it cooled off, and we're able to hold it.
You're definitely able to hold it. Got in front of all the chaos when it mattered the most. Joshua, 6th win in this series, as you mentioned, second all time to Jeff Wright, the man you beat tonight. Anyone you want to thank, shout out, anything like that?
Ah, man. Well, we'll start out with the sponsor because we are sponsoring the league, the M&J Distributors, of course. Shout out to them, which is me, for sponsoring the league and putting it on, and to the admins for what they do at this league, man. This is a huge field for Dover, and we did very well, I think, for a 43 card field or however many it was. Very good for not having a caution fest with wrecks after another. We did really good on restarts. I know that sometimes these things can get a little bit of a handful with them, stepping out. We all did great with that. So shout out to the admins putting on a good league and all the drivers, putting on a good race. You guys up in the booth, always doing a great job, and definitely looking forward to looking back on this one and seeing the reactions to y'all watching it. So that's going to be fun as well. So shout out to them, all the other sponsors to the league. I'm not going to remember them all, so forgive me. 29 Graphics. Shoot. Forgive me. That's the only one I can remember because I've seen it on the car. But all the other sponsors, Watkins, what is it? Costumes. I'm seeing that on Ray's car here. So Watkins Costumes, them, Clark's Print Shop, everybody a part of the league sponsoring and everything. So we'll just keep doing what we're doing, putting on great shows for the fans and for the viewers at home watching. Do what we can to put on some good racing and have some fun doing it as well. And just keep going at it.
Joshua Banks, another win in this series, and unofficially, I believe you're probably going to be pretty close to being the points leader after 2 weeks. Thanks for talking to us, Joshua. Good win tonight, and we shall see you next week, hopefully. I believe. I don't even remember where we're going, but I believe we're going to Indianapolis, so good luck there, and have a good night.
All right, buddy. Appreciate you.
Well, there you have it, Connor. It was a great race. It was fun to watch. I know that we had a few more cautions than we're used to, but overall, a long green flag run, sprinkle in some yellows to mix up the strategy. It really did come down to who could get the restart mastered, and Joshua Banks proved that he did it.
Yeah, and it was a mostly cloudy day, which I think contributed to the low temps, and they just got lower and lower as we went closer into twilight, closer into the evening. And I think that played into his favor once he got the restart he needed on lap 105 to get by the 48. And at that point, it was just about not messing up strategy and not spinning the tires. And he did just what he needed to do to get another victory in this series. So big win for him.
We're going to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway September 7th. That will be next Saturday. Hope you guys can join us here on V-Speed. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, make sure to do so. Connor, any final thoughts before we let him go?
We're ready for Indianapolis. It's a very prestigious racetrack, and I love racing there myself in Xfinity cars, so I'm excited to see what these drivers can do. I'm not sure if this series has ever been here. I don't think it has been, so that should be pretty interesting. And then after that, we go road course racing for the one and only time this season at Watkins Glen before another off week in the middle of September. Kansas, Nashville, Fairgrounds, Auto Club, Chicagoland, Richmond, regular season ending at Atlanta in November, right before our 5-race chase, Darlington, Bristol, Talladega, New Hampshire, and the season finale at the always chaotic Las Vegas. So this is a good season we got going. 2 different winners already on the season. We could see a third next week. Who knows?
Just a week before Christmas Eve, when you'll get to see them roll the dice at Las Vegas. But for everybody at V-Speed, Anna Baker in the background does all the things. Our other producers, Morgan Cook, Logan Threlkeld, Christian Hill, Eddie Smith. The list keeps getting bigger. I think we got a Dustin or DJ. I don't know yet. We got to see what he's got in store for us. But on behalf of Connor Horn, this is Bradley Cooper telling you to have a great rest of your week. Weekend. We'll see you next time here on V-Speed. Take care, everybody.